Greetings, every peoples! Your cult of personality here, Toon Critics, and I am Toon's name of my game. Welcome to a special little review. This is, I believe, the first animated movie of 2016 for me to cover, the Lego Batman movie. I have been excited for this for quite some time, and I know I'm not the only one, because I have with me here the, I suppose, Robin to my Batman, Robin0928.
Hello everybody, I'm Robin0928, and I take a look at the good, the bad, and what I think overall. And yes, I have also been very excited for this movie since I believe the teaser came out around Batman vs. Superman, and that was the best part of my day, seeing Batman vs. Superman.
Considering that, like, hey, we're just going to show a teaser trailer for, like, you know, a better DC movie, I want to just start this off by saying that if you look at the ratings that went in for Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, then you look at the Lego Batman, like the critics total, the review total, the consensus. People liked this more so than Man of Steel and Batman v Superman combined.
I think the better thing is if you look at Suicide Squad, which was meant to be the lighthearted DC film of last year, and you look at Batman vs. Superman, there is a night and day difference between this and Suicide Squad, and it is fantastic how much DC EU fans have been hating this movie because it's not as serious and it's doing really well.
Well, here's the thing. When I looked at how DC was going at, you know, how they wanted to portray their movies, they were trying to be like Marvel, but in the process were not conveying an emotional connection for the characters. Here, they decided, you know what, just to hell with it, we're just going to have some fun. And it seems when it decides to cut loose and just have a little bit of fun, especially in this with how meta it is and how self-aware it is, I think the people behind this, which I believe are also the same people who made the Lego the Lego movie, brought their own brand of humor to this. It works so much better for it because it knows it's silly. Batman has tried to be serious like for years, but it's so much funny to, it's a word, it's my word, I'll work with it. It's so much better to see it just realize, yeah, we've been doing this for a few years, let's just have some fun, poke fun at ourselves.
It's great to like have Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I believe I got the last names correctly.
Yeah.
They just kind of got to have fun with the character, which is, again, something we haven't seen in quite a while. I think since like 2008 with the Batman Brave and the Bold was the last real time we got an interpretation of Batman, even in any kind of form, that was just kind of having it fun and doing its own thing. And I think that this was the right combination of people for this movie. I think that the Lego format really did help out Lego Batman. Because if this was live action, I don't think it would be as funny as it is.
People assume that this is basically cashing in on the original Lego movie, and I'm like, well, yeah, because it's basically the same movie, but you have it focused on Batman. You have the same cinematography, the same writing, directing style to it. You also have, like, some of the jokes, some of the ways that they go about this movie. It basically is the Lego movie, but it's with Batman as the main character. And I've always been hesitant, because if you give a side character their own movie, it's usually as a joke. But they actually went on a serious route with this while also having it be funny at the same time. They found a very nice balance for them to work with. Like, you can tell you can tell how basically how self-centered Batman is, and you have all the characters he bounces off of, knowing that, like, he's super serious, but the way that he's trying to do it, it's still hilarious.
And I think that this is where Lego and WB Animation, I think that this is where they found their strong suit, is doing these one-off movies. Like, Lego Movie, even though it is getting a sequel, it totally will stand alone as its own movie. Lego Batman, I hope will get a sequel, but it stands alone as its own movie, and now they're doing Lego Ninjago, and hopefully that will do as well as these two movies, and it could possibly stand alone as its own movie. And I think that this is where Lego and Warner are really doing well in animation. I think that this is a good way to do something like this. I like this. I think we're going to be saying that a lot.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just break this down brick by brick, if you know.
Oh, you Lego maniac.
Brick by brick, talk by take, no matter how big, no matter how small. For those who played Lego Island, that you'll be remembering that song and humming along to it too. I actually got to play Lego Island like I think a few hours ago just to get it working properly. But anyway, let's talk about the visuals for this. They have really stepped up since the Lego movie. Don't get me wrong, the Lego movie had some impressive visuals because we had never seen anything like that done with Lego. We've never seen a Lego stop-motion movie put onto this high of a budget and this high of a scale.
I can actually correct you here. None of it is stop motion. This is all computer animated, but it looks like stop motion and it works so well. Like, it is... I've looked into the Lego movie to see if it was actually stop motion. It's just with a couple of fewer frames and computer animation, and it works. Like, it
Well, it fooled me then.
Yeah, it's fooled a lot of people. Like, I guess I'm going to link back to this video that I made very shortly after the Lego movie released. My girlfriend did not know that Lego Movie nor Lego Batman were CG, and I think that's where Warner has been just truly doing well, is that they know how to make CG look like stop motion. And it's a fantastic film, and the visuals, so good.
Yeah, the Lego movie had some very bright and colorful sort of backgrounds to work with. You had them going all over like the world, the Lego world, but here everything is a lot more grittier and darker. There's a lot more like orange skies, and the colors are kind of muted a little bit, but somehow they managed to make the characters still bright and colorful enough to help them stand out in the movie. And Batman has always been known to be dark and gritty and serious, but it's so weird to have like a little bit of color interjected into it.
And I think that the colors of this movie go a long way. Like, I've been saying that this movie is the palette cleanser from DC. DC in live action form has been very blues and bright oranges. Like, it's one of two colors. It's either blue or orange, and then all the characters are gray.
Yeah.
Whereas Lego Batman, this was a lot of colors. It was purples and greens and bright blues, and I was just sitting there like, wow, this is what a movie looks like. DC has made me forget what movies can really look like if you put just a little bit more colors than blue and orange.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
I think that it works here.
There's a lot of really great battle moments. They really take the epicness of this and crank it up like to levels that I did not know this movie could do, especially with like the final act of the movie and all the different places they go, the characters they get. There were a lot of surprise cameos that I was not expecting.
Can we talk about spoilers here?
I'm gonna just say that for those who are watching, yes, there will be a bit of spoilers, so hopefully you don't mind. We're going to try to keep it spoiler-free, but we may talk about a few things. Hopefully not anything that will ruin the movie.
Yeah, because I've just got to say, this movie has probably... This is a really good movie, and I like the trailers, but this probably has the worst good trailer to good movie ratio. Like, this movie is so much better than the trailers let on. The trailers did not reveal as many jokes as I thought that were going to be in the movie, or as many amazing characters that were going to be in this movie, or the cameos that they got, or some of the background gags that really... They made two different shots of the same joke, and the one in the movie is just far superior than the one that they put in the trailers, and I have to commend them for that their best jokes were actually changed to make them better for the movie. I love that.
That's a good thing, because I didn't think DC would be able to really pull something off like that, because all the trailers that I see nowadays, they reveal too much, especially if they're a big budget movie and they want to produce like trailer after trailer after trailer. When you get to like TV spot 12, you're just like, okay, you revealed practically half of the movie by now, so what else is there? This movie took its time and did not reveal like a lot of things. That's good though, because as I said, you see all sorts of trailers now just reveal half of the movie. This revealed only a small part of it, leaving the rest to be a surprise, and I think that's what really played to the film's strong suits.
Yeah, I feel like if you watch the trailers and you ask somebody to describe the plot of Lego Batman, they could probably get about 12% of the plot in and not know the rest of it. It is so well hidden. The trailers show scenes from later in the movies, but without all of the really interesting things of later in the movies. They don't show the cameos. They don't show the true final battle. What you think is the final battle in the trailers is in the first 30 minutes. I'm impressed by this. This is one of the few movies that I've seen recently that has completely kept me in the dark and just surprised me when I walked in. I'm legitimately impressed.
I knew I was going to start liking this movie just from the first, like, 5 minutes of it, where Batman's just like, black. Every movie starts with black. I tilted my head up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I think I see where we're going with this movie. Or when like, it gets to, I'm not going to say what it is exactly, but, like, the warehouse fight in the beginning, where it's just like, no, stop him before he starts, like, singing and doing his music. And I'm just like, they should have put the opening credits to that. And then, like, have it just be the most over-the-top thing possible. And I'm just like, this works because this is Lego Batman. This is a Batman that can be serious yet funny at the same time by being serious, which is funny. And it goes in a loop to where he's serious, but he's funny because he's serious, but he's serious because he's funny.
The best thing I can say, or, like, the best comparison that might sound like I'm insulting the movie, is that this movie is what Batman and Robin should have been.
This is the better Batman and Robin movie, basically.
Batman and Robin, as a movie, is a bad movie, but it could work. Tweaking several elements of Batman and Robin, you can basically get to Lego Batman movie. You'll be missing elements that the movie throws in that are completely impossible or just outrageous for a live-action film, but this is how how Batman and Robin should have gone, and I think it's amazing that a movie that everybody kind of writes off as just the worst Batman movie actually kind of inspires what I'm gonna be saying probably is one of the best Batman movies. Like, besides Mask of the Phantasm and 89, like, this is up there as one of my favorite Batman movies.
It's interesting to see how they can explore the Batman and Robin, I guess, relationship, father-son sort of thing between them. And I think here is the best example of it because, and I also want to point this out, that this movie, just recently I read this, went under fire because it had pro-gay propaganda. And that's because Robin gets adopted by Bruce Wayne, and then he finds, the Batcave, and spoilers, sorry, and through
it's in the trailers, we can spoil that.
Yeah, it is. And he goes to Batman. He's just like, hey, can I team up with you? I don't know if Bruce Wayne would let me. And he's just like, Bruce Wayne and I were close, so you're cool. And Robin's like, oh, I get two dads. And I kind of did a spit take for a second. I'm like, oh, did this movie really just do this?
This movie is so much more gay than that.
It is so progressive, and I love it.
It does have it also has a way better Joker than Jared Leto.
I would honestly say this is the Joker that I really did not like, but when I dug further into it, I started to appreciate him more. They dug not only into the Batman and Robin relationship, but they dug into the Batman and Joker relationship and made it very gay. And it's so subtle because
it is not subtle. Don't act like this is subtle.
It's subtle to kids. It's subtle to kids because when I went to go see this movie, kids weren't laughing at these jokes. Me and my friends were laughing at this because we're just like, oh my god, this is so gay. I can't take this.
I think that if I could make a change to the Joker for this movie, I would have Mark Hamill voice it. I cannot... Zach Galifianakis.
No, I don't want to see that. I don't think... No, Mark Hamill's Joker should not be moved around like that. I think Zach Galifianakis, his version of the Joker, is a lot better. It's not as over the top as, like, the usual Joker. And here's my one complaint with the movie, is that this happened, like, every 20 minutes or so. Like, he pops back up, and he starts going off on and off again, like, oh, I'm not your greatest enemy, da-na-na-na. And I'm like, okay, how many times are we going to go through this? Like, enough's enough. By the time they're at the end, I'm just like, can we just please? I know this is the end of the movie. We know what's going to happen. Can we get to the point, please?
Yeah. But the thing about Zach Galifianakis, I think he's a funny guy. I just don't like his Joker voice. I don't think it really works for the Joker. I think that Mark Hamill, and this is also because I'm a huge Mark Hamill Joker fan, and probably the 35 times I watch this movie, because I'm going to become AC Race Best, or whichever one it is. I think it's AC Race Best with Zootopia, and watch this movie 30 times in theaters. But I feel like right now, at least having seen this movie once, I feel like I would have preferred a better voice for Joker. I think that Zach Galifianakis is funny, just not right for the Joker. But he's a good Joker. I'm not going to deny that. He's better than certain Jokers from certain movies that came out last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jared Leto's just
I want to say
man.
though that the one character that actually did surprise me through this was Michael Cera as Robin.
Yes.
I'm just like, wow, this Robin's actually kind of annoying, but yet I like him.
He was just I really liked Michael Cera Michael Cera has both an annoying and endearing quality about him, and I think this was on full blast for his Robin. Although I've agreed with kind of Jen Blake on this one that yeah, maybe not Dick Grayson for this one because it's a little bit it doesn't quite fit with Dick Grayson. Maybe an original Robin, or I think it probably would have worked with an original Robin on this one because while it's definitely they're trying to do the Dick Grayson thing, personality-wise, he seems a little bit too old, yet his mannerisms are very young. It's a little bit weird because of Lego.
Yeah, then we got to build different little Legos for the kids, and then for Robin. I still think it's amusing in the end. He gave me he and Batman gave me the most laughs. I think when Robin gets the suit for the first time, it's a little tight around the pants. Rip! And I was drinking soda, and even though I knew that joke was coming, I still spit my soda out because that was probably one of the funniest parts of the movie. Or like near the end where he's just like, "All right, you got to get in the costume. Oh, you probably don't have it on you." Rip! I'm like, God damn it, they did it again.
And I've already talked about that there's a joke that's changed from the trailers. That joke is funnier than the version in the trailers. If only because I've seen that joke so many times in that context, so seeing it out of that context was hilarious to me. Oh my god, I was totally on board with the typical jokes about that are made about Robin in most, non-comic book circle. In most non-comic book circles, you'll hear the classic jokes at Robin about how he wears shorts all the time, or not shorts, he wears basically underwear all the time, and he's this little kid who's running around with this grown man. Like, what's up? Is he
your son? Because it'd be weird if he wasn't.
Yeah, and I was totally on board with these jokes, and I didn't think I would be as on board with the constant berating of Robin sometimes as I was, because there was constant berating of everybody. Like, there was not a character in this that was treated as too sacred to be made fun of. Jim Gordon is made fun of, Batman's made fun of, Batgirl is made fun of, the villains are made fun of. Like, this movie understands that, yeah, it's an important property to a lot of people, but it's still kind of silly. Like, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed kind of getting to have a little bit of fun and watch characters that I love just kind of get insulted for an hour and a half. It was great.
I think another thing, too, I really did like Barbara Gordon in this. I thought Rosario Dawson was a great choice for her. But I felt like when she finally did become Batgirl, it felt a little too late. And not only that, it felt like it was just kind of slapped on there. I'm like, okay, realistically, how is this going to work? 2, what?
Yeah, it kind of just happened. Although, I will say...
She's a great character, though, don't get me wrong.
That scene where Barbara's finally Batgirl, and I won't spoil what happens in that scene, but there are some references to some certain TV shows, and there are some certain onomatopoeia references to another TV show, or I guess it's the same TV show, and there are some obscure villains that get some spotlight. That was
funny though. Even though the Joker's like, yeah, I know, Google them, and someone actually did. They're just like, huh, they weren't kidding. These were actual villains, and I'm just like, they really did their research when it came to this movie.
I feel like, and the thing about that, they didn't just like insult these villains and have them just dismissed as not important. They joke about them. But yet, in the end of the movie, no villain is too small for this. And that was what got me emotional, is that they didn't just focus on the big villains. They didn't just focus on Joker, Penguin, Two-Face, etc. They focused on everybody. No one was left out or too small for this movie. And that kind of got to me because there's so many comic book movies that are just they'll do the main villains that casual viewers will know and that comic book fans will like to see on the big screen. This movie had Condiment King, and he was treated as just as important as the Joker, and that matters to me, and I think that got me a little bit emotional. I got a little bit of heart. My heart grew 3 sizes that day.
This movie provided me feels that I was not even expecting, because I expected this to just be like a very goofy, like over-the-top movie. But pretty much throughout the entire movie, they kept a serious tone to it, but kept a sprinkling of comedy on top of it throughout it, and it remained a consistent balance, like here and there. When it got feelsy, like at certain parts, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It makes you feel bad sometimes.
I felt really bad for Batman because this I felt like was a character growth and character inspection, I think is the word. Like taking his character, inspecting it further, and in a way sort of explaining a lot of things that we haven't really thought of. Just like the whole family sort of thing, the whole Batman family. I know they did that, I think, in one DC movie, but here I think
Batman
is where
and Robin.
Yeah,
that's it. The Batman family. This is the first time in 20 years, and if you go back even further, like the last time we really had a live-action Robin was the 60s show. Like they have ignored the Bat family, which has been a huge part of comics.
Well, if you count Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Dark Knight Rises.
He wasn't Robin on screen with Batman, with Batgirl, and the rest of the Bat family. Like, I feel like if they keep making more Lego Batman movies, we might get, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Dick Grayson evolving into Nightwing, maybe a Batwoman story. Like, they could keep going and expanding the Bat family, and I think that this could be the avenue to explore the Bat family, which is such a huge part of comic books that is just ignored in modern DC. Even in the DCEU, while they have references to Batman sidekicks, he's dead, so
you have to understand too, though, it's hard. It is hard though to balance all of those characters and give all these characters development. They're already trying to do the Justice League thing that's coming out like next year. Which,
true, I'm not going to say that.
Wait, no, is Justice League this year or
Justice League is like November, December-ish this year.
Okay, all right.
This will probably be my favorite DC movie this year. Even though there's Wonder Woman and the frickin' Justice League coming out, this might be my favorite DC movie this year.
Yeah. So there was one other minor complaint I had. When they got to the credits with the song, I really felt like they were trying to ride off of Everything Is Awesome, and I'm just like, no,
Everything Is Awesome worked better.
You should have just went with something different, because I can tell you're trying to copy Everything Is Awesome. Just like, hey kids, remember Everything Is Awesome? Well, here's this. No, not
Although they
really.
were
No.
very self-referential with the fact that it's a modern pop song at the end credits of an animated movie, which I did appreciate. I thought that was a funny little gesture, although it was a little bit ham-fisted. I personally would have liked to have maybe the song that started the movie with the rest of the Bat family maybe having several different verses or lines in that. I think that would have made a better end credit song.
Another thing, Alfred was great in this movie.
Oh my god, I did not expect Alfred to be as good as he was. Just such a great character, and so many great twists that are not in the trailers. The trailers show maybe like 3 of his jokes.
They make him very witty. They make him much more animated, and I'm not putting up with your shit today, Mr. Wayne, that sort of thing.
And very, very meta. There is some very meta jokes from Alfred, a lot of which are in the trailers, but man, they keep going with the meta jokes with Alfred. Alfred has probably the most meta jokes out of the main cast.
If you took a shot for every time that they did a meta joke or a reference or an homage, you would probably be drunk like halfway through this movie.
You'd be drunk.
They even insulted Suicide Squad, and I'm just like, they're just like, what? Sending a bunch of like prisoners, outlaws to save the world. That's just stupid. I'm like, don't you? You know.
And you know what's sad is that they had to have thought of this joke either while Suicide Squad was out, or they had to have predicted that Suicide Squad would suck. And if they predicted that Suicide Squad would suck, that is impressive, because everybody thought, hey, this might actually be really good, until the moment they saw it. Man, I hate Suicide Squad. It's a bad movie.
I can just imagine that Ben Affleck is sitting in the theater watching this and realizing, well, I got beaten by a fucking minifigure.
The funniest part of this is I remembered a Jimmy Fallon sketch very shortly before the release of Batman vs. Superman, where they had Henry Cavill and they had Ben Affleck on screen together acting as Batman and Superman, and then Will Arnett shows up, who plays Batman in Lego Batman, and he's like, hey guys, I've got a movie too. And they're like, nobody cares about Lego Batman.
Oh, really? Look at it now.
So, I don't think we could put that in, but maybe we might. You might need to annotate that because it's a great little sketch, and it is hilarious in hindsight.
Someone can probably Google it too, but
Batman sketch.
Overall, though, I love this movie. It gave me a lot of feels when I wasn't expecting it to. The comedy for this was great. I felt a lot of the characters were balanced, minus one or two of them, which is understandable because as you see on the poster, holy crap, there's a lot of characters to work with. The visuals are much more detailed. They put a lot of effort into this movie. They learned a lot of things from the first Lego movie and now have added on to this with all sorts of new tricks and visual styles. And I would definitely recommend going to see this. If you're a Batman fan, if you're a DC fan, if you're a Lego fan, this movie is suitable for kids, but kids probably won't get most of the jokes and references. I think this is made for both kids and adults in mind, because there's so much that honors like the Batman legacy through this movie.
I would agree with most of that. In fact, probably all of it. The few problems I have are just because I'm such an obsessive DC nerd, and small character flaws or character inaccuracies do get to me, but this movie got me more emotional than I thought. There are very few movies that have gotten me to cry in cinemas, and very, very few movies that have gotten me to cry because of how much I loved it. And this movie is one of those that by the end of the movie, I wish that there was video of this so I could send it to you, but I was legitimately crying out of beauty of this movie and its love of Batman. If you have ever laid eyes on a Batman comic or know anything about it, you will walk away loving this. If you have no idea who the Caped Crusader is, this is as funny. This is still a funny movie, even if you won't get every single joke thrown at you. If you love the Lego movie, this is right up your alley for Will Arnett's Batman. And if you just want a really good time, this is a fantastic comic book movie to go see. I love this movie so much, and this will more than likely be in my top 10, if not my top 5, depending on how good some other movies are.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, hey, can I get a say in this real quick?
No, we're not doing this.
No, yes, we are. No, yes, we are. Yes, we are. As Toonie here was pointing out, isn't it hilarious the fact that Ben Affleck gets beat by a fucking Lego minifigure? The fact that he poured his heart and his soul into Batman v Superman, and he's so ready for the Batman movie, and yet this Lego movie comes out and it just crushes his dreams. You can see the meme of his face where he looks so distraught, and there's the review scores. It's so funny. I'm sorry, that's all I'm gonna point out. This movie was fucking great.
You know what I saw when I was going to see this movie, though? There were some trailers that were up there that were pretty interesting. Lego Ninjago, a couple of other small movies, and this movie called Power Rangers was being teased.
Anyway, I think that's all the time that we have for this review. Overall, I think this was pretty good. Let us know in the comments below if you want me and Robin to review Wonder Woman or Justice League or any other DC movie, I guess, that's coming out. I'm not touching the Judas Contract, though. I just can't, because I really hated Justice League versus Teen Titans. I could not get into it.
legit, I have not seen the trailer for it.
It's
I have
it's
completely
okay.
forgotten.
It's
So
okay.
I might end up having to talk about it because I was meh on Teen Titans versus Justice League. I really didn't like Batman Bad Blood, so maybe I might end up seeing Judas Contract. I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer, so I can't really comment if it's good or not. We're probably not going to review it though.
We'll probably do another DC movie somewhere down the line. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Go ahead and put down in the comments what your thoughts are on the Lego Batman movie, if you liked it or you hated it. And if you're interested in Lego Ninjago later this year or not, I don't know. I feel like this one's really trying to ride off the hype, but maybe it'll surprise us.
We thought, okay, Toon, I gotta ask you about this because we thought that the Lego movie was this little cash grab movie that wouldn't be anything good, and it was phenomenal. We thought that the Lego Batman movie was just trying to capitalize off of the hype of the Lego movie, and, you know, there were a lot of references to some classic villains, but maybe it would just be an okay movie, and it was phenomenal. And Lego Ninjago, it looks like it's trying to capitalize off the hype from Lego Batman and Lego movie. I don't know. This could be a really solid 3 separate movies that kind of all have this common theme, and we definitely now need an Avengers crossover between all 3 movies. Definitely. We need to have Michael Cera join Lego Movie next time.
We'll see. Awesome. We'll see how this all turns out. Anyways, this has been Robin0928 and good old me, good old Toon Critic, keeping you totally tuned for your entertainment. Thank you for watching, and stay awesome.